Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast with your hosts, Reese Downing and Jacob Workman.
What's going on, guys? It is TNT Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast, NFL edition. It is here, week one picks. It's about time. We've been waiting on this for a while. With me, as always, is the fine citizen, Mr. Jacob Workman. Jake, how's it going, brother?
Everything's good. I'm ready for football to start. Season ended terribly last year in a huge upset for us, so I'm ready to get a new season started.
Yeah, well, we're going to get into that game here before too long because the Lions come into week one as underdogs, surprisingly. So we'll talk about that here when we get to that game. But let's go ahead and jump into news and notes. The big discussion here, to nobody's surprise, obviously I'm a Cowboys fan. We've got Taxis who comes on here, also a Cowboys fan. And even if you're not a fan of the Cowboys or Packers, this was huge news. Micah Parsons did get traded from the Dallas Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers for 2026 and 2027 first-round draft picks and defensive tackle Kenny Clark. After the trade, Micah Parsons signed an extension, 4 years, $188 million. $120 million of that is guaranteed. He also got a $44 million signing bonus. That puts Green Bay in a tight cap space. They've got $14 million left this year, like $10 million the year after that. On the flip side of the equation, Dallas had over $40 million in cap space after this happened. They've already used some of that to sign an extension to Deron Bland, to agree to a 4-year, $92 million extension. And it sounds like they're working on Tyler Smith to get him locked in long-term as well. Jake, what were your thoughts on the trade now that you've got the Lion in the NFC North?
Yeah, I don't know. I wish Jerry wouldn't have traded him to an NFC team. You would think that's pretty stupid for your own sake, but it's Jerry. Honestly, I'm not that worried about him being on the Packers. I mean, we play him week one. He obviously has injury concerns. I've already seen he's planning on taking an epidural. So, I mean, if he's got to do all that just to play, I think he's an idiot because our O-line, I mean, I think Penei Sewell's going to be just fine against him. He's been just fine against him in the past. I'm not that worried about him, to be honest. So, and they open up a huge hole in the middle of their D line, and we're a power running team that can go right at him. So he's not going to do much in that aspect either. So, it is what it is. Yeah. Obviously they added a great player, but they gave up 2 first and lost their interior line. So we'll see how it pans out for them.
Yeah. I mean, on the Dallas side, I hated it when I saw it because Parsons is one of my favorite players. The more I thought about it, though, if this was going to happen, like, this is one of the better things for us, I think, to get 2 first-round draft picks. Now we're going to have 2 first-round draft picks for the next 2 years. Hopefully we can do something with that. So long as we're not picking defensive players from Michigan, typically we pick pretty well with our draft picks as of late. And I like Kenny Clark. I know he's 30 years old, but he's a really solid run stopper. That's one of the biggest weaknesses from our team the past several years, is being able to stop the run. So seeing Kenny Clark on that defensive line with Osa is going to be a lot of fun. We do have some young guys. We drafted D from in our second round pick for defensive end. We have Sam Williams. We brought Dante Fowler Jr. back. So we've got some pieces there. Obviously, none of those guys are Micah Parsons, but Parsons, I mean, he said he wanted to be a Cowboy. There were a lot of back and forth. It's hard to know what is factual versus what's embellished, especially when it's coming out of Jerry Jones's mouth. But at the end of the day, like, if Parsons acted like he didn't want to be there, I mean, I think laying on that table in that preseason game kind of put the nail in the coffin. I think that rubbed a lot of players the wrong way. A little frustrating that you're starting to see all these stories about how the team was tired of his podcast and all this stuff, because if you had a problem with the guy, like, say something when he's in the locker room, don't wait until he's not on the team anymore. But this could have turned out to be much, much worse for the Dallas Cowboys, knowing Jerry Jones and how he can operate at times. So I don't hate it. I do hope that we leverage this cap space responsibly, because we do have a lot of money in Dak and CeeDee Lamb. And we have an opportunity to spin this wisely and put some solid talent around the Cowboys to be able to fill some gaps. So as much as I would have loved to see Micah be a Cowboy for life, and I hate the fact that he got traded to Green Bay, I would have rather seen him go to an AFC team. I honestly don't think this was that bad of a trade. The more that I think about it, so we'll see what happens. It's kind of hard to see who wins and loses. I had this conversation with a couple buddies. Until those draft picks come to fruition, it's hard to really know who wins this. But I mean, it's already coming out that Parsons is, like you said, is going to need to take an epidural, and it sounds like he may need to do that throughout the season. Back injuries are not easy to come back from. It's going to be a challenging thing for Micah to stay healthy, it sounds like. So I wish him the best in Green Bay, unless he's playing Dallas and unless he's playing Detroit, because I have a vested interest, obviously, in the Lions because of the pod. So let's keep things moving here. We did talk about DaRon Bland, 4-year, $92 million extension. He got a $22 million signing bonus. Jaylen Warren with the Pittsburgh Steelers also signed a $17.5 million extension. He got $12 million guaranteed with the Steelers. MVS chose to join the San Francisco 49ers after being released by the Seattle Seahawks. He did get a guaranteed $3 million out of Seattle to be on that team for a couple weeks, and now he is moving to another NFC West foe. He'll compete in a wide receiver room that includes Juwan Jennings, who is recently back. Brandon Ayuk is obviously going to be out for a little bit. They've got Russell Gage on that team, amongst others, but he could find himself with some playing time, especially with Ayuk out until at least week 6. So we'll see how that works out for MVS. CJ Gardner-Johnson, obviously he had a pretty big scare early into the preseason. They did get some promising news. The Texans did find out that he should be suiting up for week 1. Quinshon Judkins, he may be back with the Browns as early as this week, but he's still yet to sign his rookie contract, in addition to waiting to hear if he's going to be facing a suspension from his domestic violence and battery charge back in July. Just a few days before the season starts, so we'll see if they get something done before the Bengals game. Otherwise, they're going to be rolling with Jerome Ford as their RB1 for the opener. And the last thing here, I just wanted to touch base on, Bill Belichick made his college football debut. We talked about this in the college podcast that we just recorded. He got stomped against TCU. Tar Heels got beat 48-14 in Chapel Hill. First game of the season. TCU is a tough team, so we'll see how Belichick gets the kids to improve as the season progresses. Jake, you got any thoughts on the first game for Bill or any of the other news and notes here?
No, I mean, we talked about it a lot on the college episode. It is what it is. A lot of overreaction. Obviously, the hype was there. The buildup was there. It's kind of what we expected, to be honest. I mean, 95 new guys on the team and a whole new coaching staff. You don't know what you're going to get. The Judkins thing is interesting. Obviously, Browns and decision making are 1-1. CJ GJ, hopefully he is back ready to go. I liked him when he was in Detroit, even though when he left, he talked some shit, but he is what he is. And then just on the comment, if you saw our friend Ike, he has said that our podcast is better than Micah Parsons' podcast, The Edge. So
I love it. I'll take it, especially now, 100%. We appreciate that, Ike. All right, guys, that's it. We don't have a whole lot of news and notes this week because we covered a lot last week. So we're going to jump right into it. We're hopping right into game picks. So we're going to kick things off here. The NFL season kicks off on Thursday. The Dallas Cowboys are traveling to Philadelphia to play the Philadelphia Eagles Thursday, 8:20 p.m. EST on NBC and Peacock at Lincoln Financial Field. Over under is 47.5. Philly is favored by 8.5. Jake, who you got?
Yeah, it's banner night in Philly, and I think it will be just the beginning of the end for Dallas in this one. I'm going to take Philly to cover the 8.5 and a pure ass beating.
No, pure ass beating. Okay. All right. Well, Eagles have won 5 of the last 6 in Philly. So as of late, Dallas has struggled to get a W on the road in PA. Parsons' situation is obviously going to have an impact on how Dallas can slow down the pass, which is a little concerning. Guys like Kenny Clark and Trevon Diggs, if Diggs does get to suit up in week 1, they're just getting on the field with the team, so that may not necessarily help. But all that said, Dallas has started the season off well against the divisional opponents. Dak is 4-1 with a 71% completion percentage and 127.4 passer rating against Philly since 2021, I believe. They're also 7-1 against the spread in divisional games in the month of September since 2017. I think the Eagles are going to win this, but I'm taking the 8.5 in Dallas to keep it close enough. Next up, we have the Kansas City Chiefs at, technically, the Los Angeles Chargers, Friday at 8 p.m. on YouTube. This game will be played at Corinthians Arena in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Over-under in this game is 45.5. KC is favored by 3.
Yeah, I think this will be a fun one. Another divisional matchup to start the year. The Chargers to me have some injury issues though. Until they can figure out those injury issues, I like the Chiefs to come out and open the season with a win and a cover.
Yeah, neutral site. KC missing Rashee Rice is going to make this a little interesting, but KC hasn't lost an international game. They're 6-0 in the last 6 week 1 games on the road, so I am also going to take KC to win and cover here. Next up, the New York Giants at the Washington Commanders Sunday at 1 p.m. at Northwest Stadium on Fox. Over-under is 45.5. Washington is favored by 5.5. This has actually ticked down a point in the past couple days.
Yeah, we'll see what Big Russ and the Giants can do. Washington obviously coming off a huge year last year. This one's interesting to me because there's so much unknown with New York. I think the Giants can be better than what a lot of people think they can be. I'm gonna take Washington minus the 5.5 at home, but this one's not gonna surprise me if it goes the other way.
Yeah, Commanders played well at home last year. New York tends to start a little slow. I know the Giants do have a little bit of a refreshed roster, but I am also going to take Washington here minus the points. Next up, we have the Carolina Panthers at the Jacksonville Jaguars, 1 p.m. Sunday at Everbank Stadium on Fox. 46.5 is the over-under. Jacksonville is favored by 3.5.
Yeah, so some fun rookies in this one with Hunter and McMillan. It'll be fun to watch them on the offensive side of the ball on their respective sides. Jacksonville minus 3.5 at home. I think I'm going to go with that. I'll take Jacksonville. I do think this will be a really good game, though. And I think Carolina's still, again, on the rise from last year. See if they can continue the trend. And Jacksonville's kind of in a make or break year for Trevor Lawrence, I think. So I'm going to stick with Jacksonville in this one.
Yeah, Jags typically start a little slow at home. Bryce did have a solid finish to the year last year, like you said. It'll be interesting to see how Liam Cohen's offense gets rolled out with Trevor Lawrence and company, but I'm actually going to take Carolina in the points here. Next up, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the New York Jets, 1 p.m. Sunday, MetLife Stadium on CBS. Over-under is 37.5. Pittsburgh is favored by 2.5.
Yeah, road favorites in week 1 are typically a dangerous trend over year by year. Pittsburgh's got a lot, though. Huge improvement in the team in the offseason. Rodgers going back to face the Jets, which he wasn't too pleased with. I'm going to take the Steelers to ruin Aaron Glenn's debut.
Yeah, a lot of new firepower for the Steelers. Like you said, a little bit extra juice for A-Rod. Makes me think Pittsburgh's going to win this one pretty easily. I'm going to take the Steelers here minus the points. Next up, we've got the Las Vegas Raiders at the New England Patriots, 1 p.m. Sunday at Gillette Stadium on CBS. 43.5 is the over-under. New England is favored by 2.5.
Yeah, the Vrabel debut. I think it'll be fun to watch because the Patriots offense against the Raiders defense, I think, is going to be a really fun matchup with Max Crosby against Drake May. I'm going to take the debut to go well, though. I'm going to take the Patriots minus 2.5.
Yeah, we talked about New England's schedule and the bounce back for this team under Vrabel. I think it starts here against Vegas. Look for Drake May, maybe take a step forward this season. I'm going to take New England here minus the points. Next up, we've got the Arizona Cardinals at the New Orleans Saints, 1 p.m. Sunday at Caesars Superdome on CBS. Over under in this one is 42.5. Arizona is favored by 6.5.
Yeah, the Saints are wearing some pretty sweet gold jerseys this week to kick off the season. As we said at the beginning or in the preview, I think the Saints are going to struggle to find wins anywhere. But 6.5 is a lot to me against an Arizona team that's not really that great either. I'm going to take the Saints at home. I just think this is too many points.
Yeah, I'm just going to struggle taking points in virtually any game for New Orleans this season. I also think Arizona's defense is a little underrated. Kyler also tends to show up on the road. So I'm going to take Arizona here minus the points to get the win. Next up, we've got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Cleveland Browns, Sunday at 1 p.m. at Huntington Bank Field on Fox. 47.5 is the over-under. Cincy is favored by 5.5.
Yeah, as we said again last week, Cincinnati's defense is just trash. So I think they're going to be okay in this one because the Browns' offense isn't exactly that threatening. Their run game is very skeptical, as we just mentioned with the Judkins news. I like Cincinnati and their offense to come out and get a win here and cover the 5.5.
Yeah, since he should win this game easily, Cleveland's likely in for a long season. I'm just a little hesitant because the Bengals are like 1-9 straight up in week 1 and 2 when Burrow starts. And I don't know why that is, but they just tend to struggle kicking the season off. I'm going to take Cleveland here to keep it close enough. I do think the Bengals are going to win, but I am going to take Cleveland. Next up, we have the Miami Dolphins at the Indianapolis Colts, 1 p.m. on Sunday at Lucas Oil Stadium on CBS. Over under in this one is 46.5. Colts are favored by 1.5 at home.
Yeah, these are two interesting teams this year. Two coaches on the hot seat, more than likely. Colts with the failed Anthony Richardson project. I mean, you don't know what the hell's going to happen. This game to me is probably the most unknown of all of week one, to be honest. I'm going to take the Dolphins on the road to win this outright.
Yeah, Indy, another one of those teams historically starts slow to begin the season. I talked a little bit last week about how I'm not sold on this team with Danny Dimes under center. I'm also interested to see how McDaniel rolls out. Ollie Gordon, if that happens, with Achane still coming back from injury, I think he is going to play, but we'll see if he's on a pitch count. Either way, I'm going to take Miami in the points here to get an outright win. Next up, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Atlanta Falcons, 1 p.m. on Sunday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Fox. 46.5 is the over-under. Tampa Bay comes in as the road team, favored by 2.5.
Yeah, two teams that should be really good this year. Tampa's got some injuries at the receiver spot. I know Egbuka is going to have to step up big and play immediately. I'm actually going to take Penix and Atlanta at home to start this one, though.
Yeah, I'm excited for this game, both to see how this Tampa offense looks and to see how Penix looks in year two. Atlanta took both games last year. I know Tampa's dealing with some injuries, but I still think they're probably going to be a little bit too much for Atlanta's defense at the end of it, even if they get just a 3-point win. So I'm going to take Tampa here minus the points. Next up, you have the Tennessee Titans at the Denver Broncos, Sunday at 4:05 p.m. at Empower Field at Mile High Stadium on Fox. Over under is 41.5. Denver comes in favored by 7.5.
Yeah, Cam Ward coming out with his debut game at Denver against Jahdae Barron and Surtain. It's quite the matchup for your first game. 7.5 to me does seem like a lot. Like I feel like this is more maybe 6.5 is what it should be. I know the whole world is on Denver, and I think that's boosting them up a little bit. I'm not quite as high as the rest of the world is on them. I'm actually going to take Tennessee to get a cover here.
All right. Yeah, I talked last week about how I'm pretty high on this Denver team. This is not an ideal scenario for a rookie quarterback in week one to go up against this defense. I just think they're going to cause a lot of problems, force Ward to make some mistakes. I'm taking Denver here minus the points at home. Next up, we have the San Francisco 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks, Sunday at 4:05 p.m. at Lumen Field on Fox. Over under is 44.5. San Francisco comes in as the road team, favored by 2.5.
Yeah, this is another interesting game. There's so many question marks for these teams. I think it is going to be kind of a get back to normal case for the 49ers this year. On the road week one, man. Yeah, I'll go Niners minus 2.5. This is probably my least confident pick, though.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this run game in Seattle looks under Kubiak now that they've made the transition from Grubb. I think this is a sneaky little game for Seattle to grab in week one, so I'm going to take the Hawks and the points here with them being at home. Here it is, Detroit Lions at Green Bay Packers, Sunday, 4:25 p.m., Lambeau Field on CBS. Over under 47.5. Green Bay comes in favored by 2.5.
Yeah, we've kind of taken over Lambeau the last 3 years we went there. Even sent Aaron Rodgers out of the playoffs in his final game as a Packer. I think we are so much better of a team this year than last year. I think we're well prepared for this game. MCDC came out and said today that Aiden Hutchinson looks the best he's ever looked with the way that he's hitting the edge and the way he's turning and moving. I think that this is a Lions win, so I will take them straight up again.
I am with you. I am taking Detroit to get an outright victory in Lambeau in week one. Next up, we have the Houston Texans at the Los Angeles Rams, Sunday, 4:25 p.m. at SoFi Stadium on CBS. 44.5 is the over-under. Rams come in favored by 3.
Damn TV execs making me watch the Lions and Rams at the same time. Yeah, I'm big on the Rams this year. I love what they did in the offseason. I think that the defensive line is going to wreak hell on CJ Stroud. They don't have a running game right now either, so I like the Rams to roll in this one.
Yeah, Texans come in a little banged up. They've got some questions on the O-line as well, which isn't great when you're going up against this Rams front seven. Couple that with Matthew tossing nukes to Tay Adams and Puka. I'm taking the Rams here minus the points all day long. Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Buffalo Bills. Sunday, 8:15 p.m. It's our Sunday night football matchup. Highmark Stadium on NBC. 52.5 is the over-under. Buffalo comes in favored by 1.5 at home.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Ravens. I don't know. I like them to win the game straight up, honestly. Buffalo always, I don't know. I don't know what it is with Buffalo. They're always a question to me. I feel like we have to wait and see every year of how they're going to be. Typically by the end of the year, they're rolling. But at the beginning, you never know. So, and Baltimore still in decent weather. I think Lamar's fresh. I mean, obviously Henry's going to be fresh. I think they've got enough to just put it on them with their offense. So I'll be on Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore's going to have to handle Buffalo's run game if they're going to get the W here on the road, but I'm going to roll the dice with you and take the Ravens to get a close one to kick off the season. Last up, we have the Minnesota Vikings at the Chicago Bears. Monday Night Football starts at 8:15 p.m. Soldier Field on ABC and ESPN. Over under in this one is only 43.5. Minnesota comes in as the road team favored by 1.5.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not big on either one of these teams. This is a tough one. I'm going to take the Bears at home, but I think neither one of these teams are going to have that great of a year. I know there's still some hype on Minnesota, but McCarthy, I've got a lot of questions with him. So I think Caleb and what the Bears offense can do is going to be a little bit ahead of the Vikings. Ben Johnson comes in already knowing what the Vikings do, so it's not like it's brand new for him really either. He's faced them a million times. So, be prepared. Benedict will probably have a trick play ready for him in week 1. So I like the Bears to win that game outright.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised Minnesota's coming into this one favored, given that the game is in Chi-Town. There's obviously a lot of hype around the Bears with Coach Ben at the helm now. I'm not sold on JJ either. We talked about him a lot in the preseason last year before he got hurt. And the questions that we had, this is his first official game. So I'm going to take the home team and the points here to get an outright W. No bye week teams this week. Obviously, we'll have no bye week teams for a while. Let's hop right into our lock of the week. My lock of the week is going to be the Denver Broncos minus 7.5 against the Tennessee Titans. Jake, who is your lock for the week?
My lock of the week is 2 days from now. Give me Philly minus 8.5 at home against the Cowboys to start the year.
Yeah, let me just push these glasses up a little bit here. Okay. All right. Dogs of the week. I love it. Anytime I think Detroit comes in as a dog, I'm going to take them. So I am taking the Detroit Lions plus 120 at the Green Bay Packers as my dog this week.
Yeah, I'm the exact same. Lions getting points and getting money and plus money is pretty much a given for me. So, and I think it's crazy judging by what the past history has shown in this battle. So I'm on the Lions to get the, if you want to call it, upset win week 1.
All right. I love it. Well, that is it for us this week. Kind of a short week here. We'll have a little bit longer of an episode next week when we've got some news and notes and all that stuff. With it being the first week of the season, there's just not much to talk about after the preview show. We did have a really good podcast on the college side. So if you guys watch college football and you haven't checked that out, please do so. We've got it on all of the places that you would typically find a podcast. But that is it for us this week. So these are our week 1 picks for the fine citizen, Mr. Jacob Workman. This is Reese Downing, TNT Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast, NFL edition, week 1 picks. We will see you guys next week.